Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear students of Honors Part 4, today I will discuss on Birches, a very celebrated poem of Robert Frost. Birches was published in 1916 in the volume called Mountain Interview. It is a very widely quoted poem, and it is found in almost every anthology of Frost's nature poem. The poem is strikingly remarkable for blending subtle fact and fancy, observation and imagination. C. Day Lewis feels that this poem is an example of the characteristics of Frost's poetry, and any study of his poetry should begin from here. He says that this is a poem in which observation and reminiscence, realism and fancy, the light tone and the serious are perfectly blended. It moves with beautiful assurance from mood to mood, image to image, thought to thought. Its variation of a speed within the blank verse meter are unique and masterly. Now let us see the development of thought of this beautiful poem. The poem begins on an easy note and a conversational tone. When the speaker, here the speaker is the poet, sees birches bent to left and right and contrasted against darker, straighter trees, he loves to think that some boy had been swinging them. As he moves around in this light mood, the truth strikes him with a dazzling intensity. He realizes that the boy swinging cannot bend down the birches forever. Ice falling with a great speed that bends down birches forever. The poet observes all natural phenomena minutely. He observes the snow-covered branches of birches and sees the rays of sunlight splitting into its 7 colors as they pass through ice. Here, Robert Frost displays his keen sense of perception and observation. As the rays of sunlight grows in strength to strength, the ice falls to the ground and mingles with sound on the ground. The crystals of ice are small, transparent and very fragile. The poet uses a very fresh and original phrase for this. The burden of ice, the snow, makes the branches of the birches bend low and touch the ground. This was the fact, the truth about the birches that had hampered the progress of the poet's fancy. The poet, however, manages to resume his mood. He imagines that it is some boy who has devised this game which he can play and enjoy throughout the year. He enjoys birch swinging and climbs and bends every tree. With hard labor, he has acquired the skill of maintaining his balance even at the highest point. The poet remembers wistfully that he had also been a swinger of birches when he was a boy. He feels that he would continue to be a swinger of birches when he would get fed up or irritated of this world. He would find relief in birch swinging. By climbing the bent branches of birches, he would go heavenward for some time and then come back to the earth because he enjoys to be in the earth, unlike John Keats, who is an escapist and who wanted to fly in the world of imagination and get relief there, but first like the reality, and that is why he comes back to the earth. The poet would not like to live this earth forever. He would like to leave this earth only when sure that he would come back. And now let me shed some critical light on this poem. In this poem, Frost has succeeded in reconciling the apparent opposite, fact and imagination. Here we see the country boy whose only play was what he found himself riding and subduing his father's Birches, becomes the nature poet who announces Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. Thus, wisdom and whimsy join to make a poem that delights the mind and endears itself to the heart. The celebrity of Birches lies in its combination of picture and human appeal. It is all the more appealing because of the shrewd turns and rare twinkle. This poem is remarkable for the series of word paintings which the reader observes in the poem from the very beginning. It is a striking picture of nature and man rendered in terms of prominent imagery. Imagery combination of both fact and fancy. Each image brings out the importance of the other images in its prominence. The essence of the poem is contained in the fact that emerges from the poem. Basically, the poet loves this earth. Elizabeth Jennings points out that in Birches, Frost shows a yearning for a movement that is heavenward, but also declares emphatically that earth's the right place for love, and goes on to pinpoint his preference for the immediate tangible world and his capacity to manage without too much of transcendentalism. Birches is in blank meter and has served a specific purpose, the purpose of narration combined with reflection. The language is simple and lucid. This is a poem in which we find a sustained movement of sense, feeling and rhythm right from the beginning to the end. And now let me sum up by uttering this poem is an epitome of the ache of modernity and presents with candor and intensity the predicament of the modern man. Anxiety, frustration, helplessness, disillusionment and despair go together with life in a city, and Frost has been able to bring this home to us in an efficient fashion. The poem rings a bell in our mind and we unconsciously think of Keats' ode to a nightingale, where the poet wants to fade away into the world of the nightingale. But there is a difference. Keats cannot bear this world, but Frost is in love with life and earth and wants to come back. And this is very striking from the point of view of Frost as a poet, and this is actually very much attractive from the perspective of Robert Frost's feeling about reality. And I hope that, my dear students, you will enjoy this poem, and this is a very lucid nature poem. And with these few words, I would like to conclude my lecture for today, and thank you very much for listening.